I'm Danny Otto. Welcome into an all-new episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we get into the episode, just wanted to issue major spoiler alert. We are going to be going over everything that happened in Season 3, Episode 12 of The Bad Batch. So if you haven't watched that episode yet, you may want to pause this video, head over to Disney Plus, check out that episode, and then come back and enjoy the breakdown. Now, with that out of the way, let's start the show!
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
Joining with me to break down everything from Season 3, Episode 12 of The Bad Batch, it's Jon Jon Rico!
Hey!
Hey, hi, how are you?
Hey, hi, hello.
Hey, hi, hello.
Hey.
Anyway, Bad Batch!
Bad Batch.
So, look, I have to say this. You know, we have, Bad Batch episodes releasing and X-Men 97 episodes releasing. And while this is still, we're in the bad guys are kind of winning at this point right now in Bad Batch, it's still not as emotionally damaging as the last episode of X-Men 97. So it's kind of a sigh of relief that we got both of them on the same day and we were able to kind of a little bit counteract this one.
Yeah, if the X-Men came out the same weekend as last week's episode, it would have been a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But anyway, the only thing I have to ask, and I feel like I keep asking this, is how the hell does everyone know about the stupid secret cave entrance on this island, and the Bad Batch doesn't even really know about it?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Like, how does everybody know this? It's just like, Phee just comes in and goes, yeah, there was the secret passage from the water cave.
I mean, to be fair, she is the one that told them about Palbu, so I figure if anyone would know about it, she would.
Okay, still, everyone seems to know about that except for the Bad Batch. Like,
yeah, they need to put some sensors down there for sure.
Absolutely.
I think that's more on the mayor, but absolutely.
But that's the only thing I was asking. Like when the scene with Phee popping up all of a sudden like happens, I'm just
those damn caves
getting here. Yeah.
No. Or it makes you wonder how many cave systems, like obviously because of the animation, it makes the island look like it's just like really kind of small. But it makes you wonder, like if they were talking about the planet and stuff, like how like intricate the cave systems really are in that place. So it's just kind of a fun little thing to think about as far as lore.
Yeah. I keep thinking that it's just the same cave and just
no one else. There's that same little bit, like that one. Like, can you just close it? Yeah.
Somebody just like not make it a landing spot anymore. Like put some gate in on it or anything. Sensors would be the first start. But anyway, Rico, what were some of your instant reactions to episode 12?
Yeah, this was kind of like I would want to say fun, like lighthearted episodes, kind of like, especially after the whole attack on Pabu last week. Like you kind of need something where we kind of get back to the root of what the show is. It's just like these guys going on an adventure and doing some wild stuff and succeeding in the mission. So we need our guys to get a nice little win after the events of last week. So I thought it was a cool way to do that. It was a cool way to bring back some old characters from past seasons, which I thought I think that this season's doing a great job of doing that. It feels like a love letter to the entire series. So I feel like I've been saying that for a few episodes now because we're getting some really great callbacks. So yeah, it's nothing majorly significant happened, but there's some good setup and some fun moments in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And, that actually goes perfectly into my takeaways. So would you like to get to some takeaways?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to kick off big takeaways. Just with a statement, this was a good old-fashioned prison break episode. Like, that's what we got. We got that, and it was fun. And just like you said, it was back to true form of where, like, they're just going on an adventure and it kicks it all off and they get a win. They get their prisoner and they get out of there. Like, maybe not as stealthily as they were hoping to be able to do it, but
yeah, for sure.
I like the whole stealth entrance part was all like that was all awesome. And I was like, oh, okay, Hunter's gonna lead them, they're gonna sneak around and even when they jump onto the tank and everything, like the way they got in, they didn't trip anything. And then it was just like as soon as they got detected, it was like, we don't care. They're just like blowing through everything.
Exactly, just full sender at that point, which I love that. It's just like it wouldn't be them without that.
One thought did occur to me though, like in a galaxy, a world, a universe where like communication jammers, communication blockers exist. Like they need to set up some other kind of system, not rely on comms. Like there needs to be a backup plan to that because I feel like that's just always happening. They're jamming our communication. Okay, well, did you set up a plan B of like, hey, no matter what, let's meet back at this point at a certain time? Like, I feel like there just needs to be a plan B in a universe where like blocking communications is very commonplace on both sides. Like, I'm just like. They were so reliant on comms, and then it's just like every episode, like communications are jammed.
Yeah. Sure to miss for good tension though.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I'm not saying that can't be worked into the story. I'm just saying like every once in a while, I feel like there should be like here's our plan B if they block our communications. Like just a throwaway line where they say that, and I'm happy. Mm-hmm. Just every once in a while. But anyway, Rico, what were some of your big takeaways?
So yeah, really the main thing that I love about this episode is the inclusion of Rampart, the former Imperial officer that they break out of the prison. Yeah. One, he plays a pretty significant part in the Bad Batch's story overall because he's kind of one that like kind of leads to Crosshair's defecting over to the Empire. One. And then also he's like the scapegoat for when they have that big mission in season 2 that like kind of exposes the Empire's role in the destruction of Topoka City on Camino. And he's kind of just uses like the scapegoat, like, yeah, you were the one in charge of that. You're getting thrown in jail, but that's all part of our plan because we're going to take out the clones now. So yeah, it's really cool how he's kind of like the former main villain in the show. Now he's kind of turned into this like kind of ally that doesn't want to be an ally, but he's kind of forced to be an ally kind of situation. So it's always going to be fun when you watch these kind of dynamics between a former villain themselves and then the persons who like would very much like just like to get their hands on them personally. So but hands down my favorite shot of the entire episode is when Rampart is knocked unconscious and Wrecker just throws his lifeless body onto Phee's ship. And he's just like, you know what, whoosh, and just yeets him on there. And he goes, okay, now I can jump on the ship and get back on there. Like I that's one of like the hardest I've laughed during the show for sure. Like just the fact that like, no, this guy's an asshole, so I'm just gonna yeet his body on there with no real regard for his safety. And then I'm gonna worry about him afterwards. It's like, just that's why I love Wrecker.
Yeah, I definitely laughed right there, but then I quickly got very nervous because they were spending a lot of time in Wrecker not really having a good jump to the ship, and they were zooming in on the end of the cliff, and I was like, oh no, don't do this to me. And even when he did jump, he didn't completely get there, and he looked like he was gonna slip. I was like, you better not do this to me. You already like hurt Wrecker the episode before, so I was just like, don't do that. Don't do it.
Don't do that. Not Wrecker.
So, I was getting worried. I went from like giggling at that part to like getting nervous at that part. But luckily, everybody gets out unscathed, and we have the end of them just kind of flying off into the sunset type of thing for their mission at least.
Yeah.
But Rico, you want to get to some predictions?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right. Why don't you kick off predictions?
Yeah, so really, we have like 3 episodes left, and I want to say that we're getting we're building up to this big showdown on Tandish, right? I think we've been kind of saying that kind of since like kind of the mid-season point. Everything that they do right now is kind of leading up to the big like kind of infiltrating the Tandish operation and breaking up the clones and Emery and Omega and everybody. So it's gonna be fun to watch all those threads just kind of finally come together. Yeah. And then also them kind of setting up the final little steps they need to kind of kick off the attack. So I imagine that, like, again, we keep bringing up characters like Rex and Echo, of course, like seeing them again. We got to get the full assembly. Like, it's going to be Bad Batch Endgame, basically. So I think it's something that's going to be really fun to look forward to. And it's going to be like this big, like, love letter to the clones in general, like just as like of them as characters. So I think I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and a thought did occur to me, and I'm happy that I was kind of wrong about this one. And I think I don't know if I absolutely was like, this is definitely going to happen, but I just remember going, I wonder if this is going to happen. With we got a very quick at the beginning of this episode where Wrecker kind of turns to Crosshair and goes, "I can't believe you let Omega give herself up." So I'm glad, because originally I was like, what if we're gonna have like conflict between Crosshair and Hunter?
Yeah.
Because no one really saw the events of Omega giving herself up.
Yeah, the trust is back.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got that, because I didn't want to have like infighting.
Yeah. I think it was a good scene that also showed the way that like kind of Crosshair's respect for Omega has gone up too, because she was like, yeah, no, she did the right thing. Like, I can't believe that she made that call. So I was like, yeah, good on you, Crosshair. You're giving her like her due props at the same time. So it's like, yeah, the character growth in this show has really been excellent.
Yeah. I mean, and like, just like you always say, I feel like this is, I'm taking a line out of your book. The music at the end of this episode really made the episode have that underlying sinister tone, like of oh, this is not a happy place to be. Like when it just kind of like Omega gets shown into the vault and she finally sees that, but that music that's kind of playing underneath before it goes
Beautiful, dude.
to the
Kevin
credits.
Kiner is the John Williams of the Star Wars like animated universe, man. He does no wrong when it comes to this stuff. Ever since Clone Wars, he's just done masterful work.
Oh man, yeah. But that was just making it, because it was just added to that creepy factor of like,
get him on the movies.
Yeah, high M count children being locked in a vault, and now Omega is stuck in here too. Like the doomed feeling of the situation is definitely reflected with the music there, and
But I like that she's there kind of like under, like, obviously she's there under different pretenses, but she's there with a different mindset herself too, because she was there just kind of going through the motions of like what they're gonna have me do next day. But now she has a mission that she wants to achieve, and now she has some help there too. Like, obviously now she's gonna try to use the stuff that she's learned to her advantage now, and I think it's gonna be fun to see that dynamic between her and Emery, but also the way she's gonna kind of help build up the confidence of these, like, I'm guessing force sensitive children as well. So it's going to be, that part of the story is going to be really fun to watch unfold too, as well as the Shadow Ops clone. I want to see what ends up happening with him too. I'm really hoping that's Tech. I really want to be Tech really bad. There be Tech.
I just like you. I just want to echo exactly what you said, without pun intended, about a character echo that we're definitely going to see more of. But I'm really excited to kind of see all of the threads actually be pulled together, and to really tighten up like all of the different storylines. I really do appreciate, sometimes we have two-parters where, one of the episodes is all like the villain side, and the other side is the other episode's the Bad Batch side of everything. But this episode kind of went back and forth. And I really appreciate their ability to, progress all of these storylines at the exact same time.
Yeah, the latter half of each season has always done a really good job of like kind of forwarding, just like it feeling like one big through storyline, even if it does have that adventure feel. This whole season has actually done a really good job at that, because I feel like the first 2 seasons had a lot more, I feel like, just standalone adventures. Obviously end up being called back to in this season,
right?
Of course, but I think that everything is just tying together really beautifully. Like, I'm just waiting for the nice little cherry on top now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But as we always say, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. How do you think this is going to end? Obviously, it's going to be a showdown at Tantus. But how are we going to get there? And how are all of these threads going to be finally connected and tied together? There is no wrong answer. Cannot wait to see what happens next. And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest audio and video podcast releases. Bye, everybody!
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.